Oh, hey, good morning. It's 5amMesterScrum. You caught me playing with my kids' Matchbox cars. I don't know what he's doing with them. But anyway, I got Matchbox cars. And this is Greg Mester, and this is 5amMesterScrum. Hope everybody's doing okay. I hope everybody survived their Monday. I had it was a lot of people yesterday. It was a rough Monday. But now it's Tuesday. So we're into the week. We're humming along. And here we talk about Agile and Scrum. It's show number 78. We're at 78. We're almost at 100. I don't know when we're going to get there, but we're going to get there soon. So 78. And welcome to everybody to our podcast show. If you were watching and you're live on here, you might see me. I just posted up yesterday's podcast show, so it should propagate through the system. I forgot. I was like looking for it. And I always check, like testing. Did it go out and deploy? Did it deploy? And I noticed yesterday that the podcast, I didn't do it yesterday. I did all the graphics. I did everything, but I didn't hit the last thing and send it. And I was doing some other things that I do. And oh well, it's out. So you get a little podcast thing, and then you get this live thing right after that. So a lot of stuff coming out. Sorry about that. Today I won't forget the podcast. I usually put the podcast out about an hour after I do this show, just so it doesn't overwhelm everything. Anyway, and we're on all the little medias for podcasts. And if we're not on your favorite podcast, just send me a note, and we'll see what we can do by getting on there. So today, I just want to talk about a couple of little simple things. It is Tuesday, so talk about two things. Talk a little about Jira Rally, just keeping track of the stuff, and then also do a retro thing that one of my Scrum Masters had done a while back, and another organization I coached for, and I was going to bring it up, and that's why the cars, because it was related to cars. So I bought Matchbox cars, right? Anyway, so I was just reflecting. I don't know why I do it, but I just do on my day, and something one of my developers had told me a long time ago. Using these online, some people poo-poo the online systems and like Jira and Rally and Azure DevOps or whatever it's called now, VSTS, any one of these systems. And there was a lot of time management systems that were on display at the PMI conference the other day, and trying to make things simple and easy to use. And when I try to coach, I help them with their I don't know why, but I always end up in there using those systems to become an admin. And I always try to make it, everybody says, that's so hard to enter data in. It's hard. I always try to make it easy as possible. And the way I make it easy as possible, I actually use the same software that they use. So that when I do things and I experience things, I'm able to convey that how I did it to make it easier to use for my job. Because, as an Agile coach, Scrum Master, sometimes depending what's going on, I'm always finding ways to do my job quicker and easier and faster. And they don't necessarily have that time to do that, but I try to do that. And I'll give you an example. All day long, I get unplanned work. Can you do this? Can you interview this person? I got an issue. Can you help me? So my whole day is full of unplanned work. Spot on work, go to help coach somebody. But however, I do have planned things that I want to commit to and work. And we actually, myself and my other Agile coaches where I'm at now, we actually put everything in a sprint, which is nice. Some people are like, why do we do this? Don't like it. And hear the same, it's the same complaints as the teams. But you know what? I really like it. And the reason being, because when I go off on all this tangent work, I come back, I just pop up my board, and I see what my priorities are. And I have the priorities at the top to bottom. And when I come back and after doing that, I just hit the one at the top and start working and work my way down the board. It's great. I mean, I don't get everything done, and I'm realistic because of all the unplanned work. But it's nice to sometimes, just like on a Monday when your brain don't work, just drain the brain and go, okay, top one, start typing. And and it's funny I say Agile coaches do this, right? I've had developers. I had one developer I was working with, And we come in, I'd be sitting there working on a computer, and he's working on a computer, and he's just quiet all day. I'm like, one day I had to go, what are you doing? You're so quiet. What are you developing? Are you developing something? He's like, he says, you just like pounding away. I was like, yeah. He says, because he's a developer and he figured out how to use the system at that point. It was Rally. And, once we do the planning thing, we prioritize the work. It all should line up with what's the priority. And what is interesting is see him. He says, yeah, I love it, Greg. This is awesome. And this is a story you can tell your developers. I come in, I turn on, at that point it was Rally or the system we were in. And all the systems do the same thing. They give you what are your jobs for the day. They all do it, right? And I just look at the top one on the list and I start working it. And then when I'm done, I close it out and then I go to the next one. And he says, I just like it because it just runs my day. So all the distractions coming in all the time, he just reverts back to that board and what the priority is. And I was reflecting the same thing yesterday. It was just dawning on me that it's nice having that board and having done a sprint planning session every 2 weeks that we do, and just to get my thoughts on what's coming down, what are the new things coming in, because there's always something that we as coaches have to implement for the organization. We knew it happens every year. So if you know it happens every year, why don't you put it in your schedule, right? And make it an item that you have to support so that your backlog isn't overcommitted and you can communicate. Maybe you're only doing one major enterprise level thing, a sprint, or maybe you're not. Maybe you're doing getting something ready or following up on something. Put it in there. It's great too. And it gives you creds to talking to your teams because you're using it, right? So anyway, so that's why I would talk about just using the automated tool to help your own stuff as an Agile coach or Scrum Master. Don't hesitate. Set your own board up. Usually you get the admin rights anyhow. So set up a project, set an admin board, just talks about Agile, enterprise, whatever you're doing from an Agile coaching in general, and how you want to manage that. My recommendation, do it. You don't get it all done, trust me. You're not sitting there. Your job is not the code all day. Your job is the coach. But it helps when you do all that unplanned work, brings you back and focus on what things you thought you wanted to work on, or your bosses, whatever your group is. Yeah, so that's it. So now it's 5 a.m. Mester Scrum. We talked about using the tools, kind of go back different things. What I want to talk about a retro. It just dawned on me because I had to pick up my kids. Well, got a lot of emails. Bet you that was the podcast going out. Because, hey, you got to do notice from the podcast. Anyway, so here at 5 a.m. Mester Scrum. Hope you're liking and subscribing and giving us a thumbs up, right? So I got these cars, and the retro that the person was putting was an interesting retro. She's like, what if you were a car? What if you're a car now? What would you be, right? Are you like, I don't want to drag down a car, but the used beat up car right now that's like putzing along. Maybe your big heavy truck, or a heavy truck, an emergency truck, but let's say it's a heavy truck, not going too fast. And then she says, so what are you now? What would you like to be? What's your dream car? Are you like a sports car, right? Like sports car, or like a motorcycle or whatever. And it was interesting because it just gave you a visual rather than just talking. And picture yourself as your favorite car. Are your Maserati, or your Corvette, or your Mercedes? Whatever your favorite car is? Maybe you want to be that way. And then why do you want to be like that? And how does that relate to Agile Scrum? If you were to take that car and then apply it to what we do at work, what would your expectations be? So it was a really interesting conversation. However, there's a little trick on that one. So she did that, right? But she had a lot of people from overseas and different parts of the world. They don't all have cars, and they don't know the names of the cars. Like if you give an example, like a Mercedes, or here in a Ford or something here in the States, they have never heard of that kind of car, right? We're working with some Ukrainians and stuff like that. I mean, it's just like not there. And in fact, most of them just have motorcycles. So it ain't about a car. A lot of them never drove a car. And a lot of them never don't have a driver's license, right? So it was like, I'm sitting there listening, like, oh, yeah. Adam don't have a driver's license. They walk to work, right? So you know about cars. They don't even think about cars because it's not in their brain. It's not in their perspective. So it was really interesting. So if you do stuff like this, you have to think about the regional impact of what you're going to do too, and try to expand it to multiple regions and examples. So then it got to the point where it's like, okay, what's your favorite motorcycle? You have a bike or whatever, you know, what's your dream bike? What do you like? So we had to change it on the fly from being your favorite kind of car, right? Favorite car to like motorcycles, right? So you think about it as you do it, you had to be in a fly. So, but what I wanted to tell you in a retrospective, when you give references and visual cues to like describe something, you might need to do a little more research on what is actually out there in that area if you're like graphically all over the world, right? Because they don't have licenses. Here in the city, in Philadelphia, you'd be amazed how many people don't have a driver's license because they don't drive. They ride SEPTA, they ride the buses. They for years they never got a driver's license, or they said, I don't need a car anymore. I'm just gonna ride something. So they don't have a license. I mean, there's more people getting licenses, but in the old school days when I first started working, you'd be amazed how many people never have a license here in Philadelphia. So anyway, with that, I want to go with it. It's Tuesday. Hope everybody's doing great or feeling better after a Monday, right? And 5 a.m. Mester Scrum. Please like and subscribe, right? Share with your friends because shares always help. Because then, like in LinkedIn, if you're in LinkedIn, so we are in all the. So we're in Facebook, we're in LinkedIn, we're in Instagram, we're in YouTube, we're here now, right? We're a lot on the podcasts, Google, iTunes, Breakers, Stitcher, a lot of other ones out there. So please just pass along, like it, subscribe to our channel. It's always good because as you subscribe, because what happens in the algorithm, that looks at what you subscribe and what you like to, and then it gets your friends. Hey, Greg likes this, or Greg subscribed to this. Maybe you would like to subscribe to it too, because I know you're connected with someone, especially LinkedIn does that. So the more you like and subscribe and help us out, it's awesome. Not requiring to listen to it every day. It'd be nice. Give me feedback, by the way, feedback. But I'm gonna love it though, because the other day we're over, today we're under. Balance it out. And I just want to wish you all a happy day, happy scrumming, and have fun. Take care, enjoy, and see you later. Bye.